Hello and welcome to Dancers Support Mission by Sabine Chaland for Shine Your Light. Today we have a new episode of Dancer to Dancer Words of Wisdom. And the goal of those interviews is to meet the person behind the dancer and share with you all not only the highlights of someone's career, but also the challenges behind the scenes. Truly, my wish is to bring healing into the dance world, dancing to heal, healing to dance, one artist at a time and one personal story at a time. Hopefully, this will allow you to embark or reflect on your own personal journey, inspired by others' experiences. So today, I'm delighted to welcome Naira Agvaneanwas. Naira is a dancer right now. She's a soloist with the Dutch National Ballet, so we have that in common, right? Because I've been there but a long time before you. And we also have another thing in common is that, your passion is to help other dancers, self-develop, know themselves better, work on themselves in order to really thrive in their career. So we're going to talk about this. But so anyway, welcome for taking the time to be with me today, Naira.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure.
And let's start with the beginning. So, that's what I do with everybody. It's like, I want to know a little bit about, your background. So where did you start dancing? When did you start dancing? And the biggest question is, when did you choose that this would be your profession?
Well, going back to the beginnings, I was 9. And I was born in Armenia, back in Soviet Union. My dad is Armenian, my mom is Moldovan. And at the age of 5, we moved to Moldova. And at 9, I entered the Ballet State College at the time, Moldovan Ballet State College. So that's where I started, really. And I must say it's a mini school of a Vaganova technique theory. So it went straight away into very serious ballet. It became really, I would say from my first year on, it became my life because my teacher was so passionate that I just felt like this was it. She gave us that energy. And then at 15, my family immigrated to Germany, and I entered the Heinz Bosel Stiftung at the time. They are now also named something else, Bavarian State Ballet School, I think. Mm-hmm. So at 15, I joined the school, and I was the youngest, which was great because I was really learning. With every year, I was doing different years all at the same time. And then at 19, I graduated and received a contract after too many auditions around Europe. I finally received a contract with the Dutch National Ballet, and I've been dancing with the Dutch National Ballet. It will be my 50th season. I will start my 50th season. Mm-hmm. And
did you first join the junior company, or did you join the main company immediately?
Well, at the time there was no junior company. If I'm not wrong, junior company is 6, 7 maybe years old now.
Okay, I thought it was
maybe something around that, maybe even 8. So at the time I was joining, I was aspirant. Mm-hmm. So. And then I became élève, and then I became corps de ballet, and then every 2 years I was promoted. Yeah. So
yeah. Would you say that you fell in love with your teacher at 9, or you fell in love with ballet, or with her love or his love for ballet? Because I find it very interesting actually how this starts.
I think I fell in love with ballet much later. Mm-hmm. I felt that I was definitely on my teacher's energy. Mm-hmm. it was definitely transmitted, and I was, you know, good at it. So that was giving me a lot of motivation for sure. But the love for the profession, it was later on stage, in the process of working on it, was much later. School, I don't think was giving me too much love. It was very tough. It was very, very tough.
So what would you say was your biggest challenge actually in those school years, you know, as a little kid, you know, wanting to do ballet, or not even wanting, but, you know, being carried away with the
Yeah,
flow and the energy of the teacher?
yeah. Uh, I cannot tell you. I feel like I didn't have that many struggles in school. I generally feel like the struggles came later.
Hmm.
I felt much more fearless when I was in school. And this, now being a coach and working with professional dancers, I realized that about myself. I didn't have, you know, we didn't have social media at the time. We had nothing to compare to. We didn't have this way of creating um, extra distractions. We
Yeah.
only knew what we knew. Maximum, we had a tape of Sylvie Guillem, you know, dancing, and that was our, you know, everything. So it was very simple, and honestly to say, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you say it was tough. So, I mean, what was the toughest thing? Just the physical part?
Yes, the toughest thing was the physical part. It was army type of training. It was 52, 54 tandu batman front, 54 tandu batman side, 54 tandu batman back. This kind of
Yeah.
training. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's so when you arrived in Germany, did that change a lot for you? I mean, was it a complete different vision of dance? Did that open your horizons, or in the contrary, I mean, were you disappointed?
Yeah, you know, now looking back, everything happened for a reason, and I left my teacher, my first school, at a really good point, I would say, because she was very good for the, like, the basics and the beginning of your ballet training. And she made us, you know, she gave us square hips, everything, all that we needed to know. I must say, my dancing today is, yeah, is, I'm thankful to her for giving me the clearest, the best basics of ballet training. But when I was getting older, I needed to start dancing. So it was a really good time that I switched, and then I had more teachers that allowed me to move more freely. So that was the biggest learning, really. And again, there were many Russian teachers,
Yeah.
interestingly enough. So I didn't go too far from my training. It was still Vaganova. But we also had our ballet school not teacher, sorry, the director, the founder, Constance Vernon. She was a prima of her time, and she was an amazing dancer, and she definitely brought a lot of technique and strength to my training, as well as I really expanded my ballet world by moving school. So I'm very, very glad that we did that.
Nice. And what about, so your career with the Dutch National? I mean, you're now a soloist, you're fully immersed in the company life, you know. What would you say is the biggest challenge as a dancer, you know, today for you?
For me, today, and I think always, the challenge was pain, dealing with pain. And pain was really the biggest roadblock, I would say.
Mhm.
And as I am finding out, is that the longer you experience pain, the more sensitive you are to pain. So it's almost like you, as a dancer, you are chronically in pain. And of course, you know, I think we push our bodies to extreme, where the pain that we deal with is not necessarily something that everyone can take, but we push that threshold. So yeah, I would say that's the biggest
You mean
struggle.
you're dancing with pain all the time?
Um, when I'm not, I feel like a different person and dancer.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so freeing. That yeah, it's such a different experience. And then when I'm in pain, I will still dance. And of course, I'm talking about pains that are
You're talking about
more,
injuries, or you're talking? I
yeah,
mean, I don't really relate to
injury,
that. So
injury.
injuries, yeah.
Sorry, injury. I cannot say I never I never had any serious injuries. I never had surgeries. I never had broken anything, but it always feels like it. And as I'm finding out now through doing coaching on pain, being coached on pain actually, is that pain is our perception.
Yeah.
And it's 100% our perception, our imagination.
And
And
resistance also to things.
yes, yes. So just dancing through pain that is okay, but still, I feel that it gets in the way of my joy of my dancing. That's the main struggle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, can I ask a question? I mean, do you want to dance, till the retirement date, or I know you've taken already. It's not like you're gonna stop dancing and not know what to do, because you already started that. I mean, this is what I read right during COVID. So, could you talk to us a little bit about this passion of yours that you're doing while dancing, which I think is really it's very interesting, because a lot of dancers start this out of start this journey inside in crisis, but as you say, you have a lot of pain, so maybe that helped to start a journey like
Yeah.
this. And I find it really hard to motivate younger dancers to actually go into that reflection, and of course I understand they need the experience, and then they need to feel the need to do it, but still, a little glimpse at it, I think that would help them so much.
Yeah. Yeah. So my interest, let's say, in personal development and in psychology started in my personal struggle. Let's say I was married, and then I was going through a very heavy divorce all through this 14, 15 years with the company. It was ups and downs, and so that's when I started to look deeper into how can I develop myself better, how can I live better, how can I see things the way they are.
And how can I help
And
myself too? I mean, I think helping ourselves
yes,
is
how can I
another
help
thing.
myself?
Yeah.
That was definitely the initiator. And in well, I enrolled in a school, in a coaching school, 2 weeks before we went into lockdown, and by complete chance, I went for a nice first long weekend in person, took all the books, came home, went into lockdown. And that was great because I dedicated the whole year to that while not working as much, barely. And I really had a lot of time to get into it and to still experience it, to test it, to ask questions. And then I started coaching dancers as well, and that also gives me enormous amount of information on what is, so not just my own idea of what is going on and what needs to change, how can we do this better, but also collecting data from other dancers, sort of like a little research here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And I I cannot tell you how many ideas that opened up for me, because the need in help and in not just in help, but the need in us growing and getting at least to a level of um, athletes, in a sense that in the sports world there is so much around the athlete, there is so much that they utilize to perform at their best. So that's one
Yeah,
thing.
but dancers unfortunately are artists and not athletes, so that's a big problem here, because we both.
Yes, yes, we're both, exactly. That's the thing that for a long time, it would be an insult. I remember if someone would call us athletes, we'd be like, how dare you? But
Oh.
on a physical level, the demands are even higher, and the support is way less. So that's where the ideas that I started having came from. You know, like any other sport, it has progressed so much. Like the world records now are something else than they were 20 years ago. Same goes with ballet, but there's no way of measuring it. But we kind of sort of ignore it. We don't talk really about the fact that we have to do more these days. Our legs have to be way higher. We have to jump more. We have to turn more. But that also has a toll on our body. So, and our mental health and everything like that. So there I feel there's a huge gap, that we're not keeping with the speed that we're moving.
Well, I think also it has never been like a priority for companies. They don't take this seriously, even. They don't take it as a, I mean, yes, there is, you know, physiotherapy and a bit of Pilates and a bit of this, but it's not, I mean, if you think about it, we are such high achievers in every ways, and you also need to understand how you function first. You know, I mean, this basically should be taught in every school. You know, before you start anything. You know, the emotional awareness and mental awareness and physical, and put everything together. So that's great. So. What is your, because right now you're doing it only I guess, I mean, you don't have much time to do it since you're dancing full time, so
Yeah. Well, like I said, there are so many ideas and so many things I want to do but I feel I could only once I stop dancing. But nevertheless, there's still ways to, you know, slowly, slowly create, let's say, the plan and the future. There are some studies I still want to do. There are some coaching methods and some ideas that, you know, how to basically the most efficient way help dancers, and not just dancers. That's another thing, not just dancers, because for me our company is functioning as a whole. So it's not only about dancers, it's our ballet masters, our coaches are just as important. They're such a big part of it, and they work as hard, if not harder. I see the patterns, I see how they are just as exhausted, and yeah. Then again,
it's funny because I believed exactly the same thing 10 years ago, and then I realized, because I thought the world would change from upside down to, you know, from top to bottom. And then I realized, no, actually the biggest hope we have is to teach students how to, you know themselves better, and then they will change with the generation, you know, expanding, it will change like this, because I find it very hard to to touch the top layer.
I agree. I think I absolutely agree with you. That's why my approach will, well, you know, we're also moving. We're changing. In the 14 years that I've been with the company, I have seen a lot of shift. There has been a shift. Like, the idea is to keep moving faster. Mm-hmm. That's the idea. And like you said, you know, dancers start so early. Dancers start so young. I find myself in my coaching that they have all this information. They know what's good for them. They know what they need. They know what is the right thing to do to be a not only successful dancer, but a healthy and successful, healthy, and fulfilled dancer. They know what to do. It's almost like they're missing the permission to. And that's what you said about, like, it's almost like entering a company. Already at school, there has to be something for them to learn about,
to relate to.
Yes, something that they understand. What are the let's say the rules, the measures, and what do you need to be aware of? The mental, the emotional, and the physical awareness is key, absolutely key. This is where it goes wrong, because I feel like everyone joins and then it's too late.
But you know, the thing is that, as you said, also it's not only for dancers, because it's the whole world like this. So we experience it, I would say, maybe a little bit in a more intense way because we're so involved. You know, you're artistically involved, you're emotionally involved, mentally involved, physically involved. So it's much harder than if you're in front of a computer all day long. I mean, you know, you're a bit less triggered, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
exactly.
I don't know. I have never tried to be in front of the computer all day. So I would imagine that it's. I mean, being in front of a mirror all day long is challenging. You know.
Yeah, definitely,
Try to be
definitely.
your own best friend in front of the mirror all day long. It's hard.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, there are definitely some things that you get with our profession that you don't get in the normal world, right? We're so close to each other. We're so social. We're so um, in sync with each other. So as much as we can take good energy, we can also absorb the bad energy just as quickly. And that's what you need the emotional awareness for, to realize how is this affecting you. And yeah, but yeah, like you said, this needs to be taught in school.
Exactly. I did that with in my son's school when he was 5 years old. You know, I would go every morning, make them breathe and you know, like center themselves. And I mean, the teacher was so happy. She said, you know, every time you come, I'm having a fantastic day. And the other days they're not as, you know, so it's interesting. You know, this is something that needs to evolve, but you know, we'll stay in the ballet world. And I think there's a huge work to be done on every level because you know we as dancer we finish our career and we go into a next profession and we bring all our luggage with us, you know, and if you don't do a little bit of cleaning, well, you're just gonna project it on other people. And
Absolutely, absolutely. This is also why I find, I don't know, again, when I speak about that, I speak purely from our company's experiences. I haven't danced anywhere else, but it's also essential for ballet masters to have a specific training. I know it doesn't really even exist.
and directors.
And directors, for sure. I didn't want to say.
I know, but I mean, you know, of course this has been like this for so long, but I mean there's definitely some. I
Yeah.
hope you can bring some great changes, you know, as you move out of your
Yeah.
dancing career into this.
Yeah, yeah, that's the idea. Of course, I will need some help. I can't do it all by myself, but I think
No, but I mean everybody who's doing that, you know, we need to just spread out and you
yeah,
know do our
yeah,
work because we are
yeah,
all very important. You know, the
yeah,
more we can spread that, the more the world will be
yeah,
pleasant place to be.
absolutely. And companies do learn from each other. Once somebody implements something that works, you see it very quickly spread to other places because they trust each other in a sense like, oh, you're doing something that works. What are you doing? How can we do the same? At least we do that.
Yeah.
So
Well, let's hope this will spread. So
yeah.
let me, because I'm just checking out. Um, well, we've touched on a lot of what I wanted to. If you could go back in time and there would be one thing that you can change, what would that be?
Change one thing. I would take better care of myself, physically and mentally, for sure.
By doing what? By looking for help sooner or by.
By not thinking that I'm invincible. For a long time, I thought I was invincible.
But you are.
I am here, yes, I definitely am, but I feel I would be healthier and stronger if I had what I'm doing now for the last maybe 5, 7 years that I become better at. I should have started earlier, taking care of my needs.
Well, you could. But
Yeah,
you should. You could.
I could totally. I could. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, I wanted to say, how did you experience the 2 COVID years? But for you, it was kind of a bonus somehow, it seems, right?
Yes, I will tell you. And for a long time I felt guilty. Of course, the world was going through crisis, and the world was going through you know, everybody was experiencing in such a different way. So I felt guilty sharing that I actually had a good time. Well, first of all, I was started studying, which made me so passionate. Um, I was training, but training enough to stay on float and still dancing here and there. Had some really good shows. Even we were filming for streamings. I just I was healthier. I became healthier. I had the time to heal everything, and I felt stronger. My sleep, my everything just, you know, and as much as, yeah, as well as I was very motivated to come back to work. So that was very nice.
Good. It's nice to hear. I mean, I have a lot of people who actually had a great time during COVID, you know. It was the perfect time to stop and, you
Yeah,
know, take the time to do what they needed to do
yeah,
as a team at work. So I think it's fabulous. Good.
yeah, yeah. I realize we are addicted. Dancers are addicted to chaos and this high intensity life,
Mm.
and it's almost like I won't stop until I'm forced to.
Yeah,
There
and
was
that's the
also
first thing you have to face when you stop dancing. So it's a
yeah,
great preparation.
absolutely, absolutely. That's exactly what I said. I had a taste of it, so I know now what to expect when I stop dancing, and how to navigate it. This was definitely a useful time.
The wise way to see it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay, Naira. Well, thank you so much. So to finish, I would like to ask you, you know, if you have one single advice you would give to a young dancer that starts his or her career right now, what would that be?
That starts his or her career. Dance for you. Okay, maybe two. Dance for you and for the audience. I think we get caught too much in dancing for staff and directors, and it changes the way we perform, I feel. And if you dance for you, your audience will see it and will feel it.
Mhm.
So
Well, it
that's
starts with, you know, dancing for your mother that sends you there, then dancing for your teacher, that, and
yeah,
then it
yeah,
continues with,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
well,
with that said, meaning dance for you, express it the way you feel, express it the way that feels right to you, or um, express your inside sensations, right? Your soul, like that's the most important, because we get so much these days, do this, do that, you know, in sense of like we get so much direction and corrections and this and that, that we get more and more lost, and are not doing it for ourselves anymore, I feel.
okay. Well, that's a
Yeah,
beautiful advice.
thank you.
Naira, thank you so much. I think we're going to wrap it up. Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
Well, no, apart from the fact that I'm very passionate, and I indeed don't have so much time to coach, but I try to make time to coach dancers. So if there are
I will
any
put all your
dancers,
information in the on the video in the description, so they
no,
can.
that's great. That's great. That's great. That's all I wanted to say. And it was nice to finally speak to you. I'm pretty sure I've seen you in the building.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
long time ago.
Thank you so much for this.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.